Hello everyone, thought I would do a little fleet update video. Obviously I spent most of all of January uploading videos of the Morris, that's so that it's because I've had a big push on getting it done and on the road, and thank you all for all of your support on that series. So let's start with the Morris. Up to today, we're kind of towards the end of January at the moment. By the time this goes out, it probably will be the end of January. So the Morris by that point should be on the road. Obviously it's had a lot of welding, a lot of brake work. It's had a service. I should have test driven it by the time this video goes out. I've only ever driven it around the estate up until right now. Looking forward to getting some use out of that. I did have an idea of driving it to the Nürburgring, doing a lap of the Nürburgring and coming back again for charity. I've got a few charity things lined up this year which I want to take you lovely people along with for. That may not be one of them because I thought Morris Minor, top speed of 70 miles an hour, there's a lot of long straights at the Nürburgring. That engine may not be too happy about that. I am currently in my Peugeot. I've now done over 3,000 miles since it's been on the road, running on, some clean. I've still been using a little bit of clean engine oil that we've had left over work, and but mostly it's been running on cooking oil because after doing the videos of the cooking oil, I got given another 8 20-litre boxes of cooking oil, so I've had a lot of free fuel to get through. Still got a fair bit, but I am currently doing a batch of used engine oil, which I'm filtering. I want to make sure that my filtration system that I've got in the new house is good enough before I do a video on what I've done with that. Other than that, it's running sweet as. Occasionally I get a ABS light come on and then it goes off. As long as it's off for the MOT, I don't mind. I have put some winter tyres on it. I've changed the wheels. I had some Citroen wheels. We had a scrap car at work and it had a nice set of wheels, and I happen to have a couple of winter tyres, brand new winter tyres, to go on it, and as it is winter, I chucked them on and I've had no problem with the ice and a little bit of snow. Annoyingly, we had snow at home, but it didn't lay, so I haven't been able to drive. I wanted to take the midget out in the snow, and I've not been able to do that up until now. I think there's a bit more snow forecast, so I might still get a chance. Other than that, the Peugeot's been a great runner. Carts everything around, carts the baby around, has been really comfortable. Heater works brilliantly, probably the best heater I've had in any of my cars whatsoever. It sits at 70-80 mile an hour, quite happy. I did have some issues actually. When I first started running on cooking oil, I did have some issues where, always at the same point, coming out of Seaford, where I live, the town I live, it would cut out. The engine would cut out at 3 or 4 of the same points every single time, which I put down to having too much petrol mixed in with the cooking oil to thin it. And it turned out it actually wasn't that. It was the fuel bowl had a leak. Someone had fixed it by putting some orange mastic type stuff in it to stop the leak, and it obviously worked when I bought the car, and then it obviously stopped working again. Maybe reacted with the petrol, I don't know. But fixed that, new fuel bowl, and whatever I've been putting in the tank, it really genuinely has been running sweet as on. It really has been brilliant. I did have to run it on when we had a cold spell a few weeks ago. I did fill the tank up with actual diesel, only because at the time work has been really, really busy, and I genuinely couldn't afford for the fuel to be so thick that it wouldn't run. I needed to get to work, so I had nothing else working at home at the moment, which I'll get to in a moment, so I had no other option. I did run it on diesel for a week. I hold my hands up to that, but we are back on cooking oil now. So moving forward, we have the midget. There isn't really an update on the midget. It's sat in the garage. I've been trying to use it I really wanted to use it, but I don't want to use it on the salty roads we have, because it has developed some rust bubbles on a wheel arch, and actually I think it was a front wing or on the door. I think it's a passenger door. And because I've been working on the Morris, I'm not too sure about. I just don't want to make it any worse. I don't want to try driving it in with salt on the roads, and it needs a bit of welding anyway. I do need to do some welding to it. I think the floor pans haven't been done very well. I was going to do it this year. Decided to work on the Morris instead, so rather than have that sat for another year. The idea with the Morris obviously is that we can go out as a family. You can't do that in a midget. You can't get a pet human, a pet dog, a wife and me in the midget. So the Morris had to take a bit of priority there. Plans for the midget. I do have a 1.8 VVC engine that I want to put in with some aftermarket engine management, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to use one called Speed We Know. I'm going to put a link to that down below if anyone else is interested. They do a pretty much plug and play system. They also do a kit you can build up for I think it's about 80 quid. It's really cheap. I do know some people with MX-5s who use it and say it's brilliant. They also have the software to tune it. So if I get stuck, I'm coming your way, Chris. I don't know, maybe I'll do it over Easter weekend if I'm not away, if I don't go camping. That will be the next thing when the Morris is done. What else have I got? I've also got new seats to go in the midget, actually. I took the seats out of the little MGF I had, the green ones with the embroidered MG in the headrest. So I'm looking forward to putting them in as well. They're probably going to be a bit higher, not as supportive maybe, but I'm hoping I know people who have done MGF seats in a midget and they've been quite happy with them. The Jag. Now the Jag, I wasn't expecting to be off the road as long as it has been. It's been 6 months. To be fair, it's been 6 months since I found the water leak. It's only been 3 months, nearly 4 months, since I started repairing it. Obviously, still the previous video, I had the supercharger that came back. I have now found the water leak. I'm waiting for the hose to arrive, and hopefully I can get that back on the road really, really soon. I do miss driving that. Other than that, it needs a damn good clean. It needs a really good clean. It's been sat outside my workshop for a long time, and I really do miss driving that one. Could have done it with the Comfort, but then again, the Peugeot. I've been using the Peugeot all winter. I don't think I'll go back to using the Jag in the winter. I think again that will probably. I'm not going to not use it when the roads are salty. I am going to underseal the hell out of it. But I'm not afraid of using that one in bad weather. I just find the Peugeot is quite nice because if it's not got a great deal of power, but it is super comfortable, and the heater works well, like I said, and it seems to just go anywhere at the moment. Really doesn't seem to it's not phased by anything. That leads me on to my last one, the Golf. Now the Golf had an issue back when it was MOT'd, where the throttle pedal stopped working and the engine just sat at idle. So emissions couldn't have been tested on the MOT. And I don't know how I fixed it. It didn't work for a long time. I charged the battery one day, I think, and then it suddenly worked, and I thought, okay, maybe this is just a weak battery. I know the Jag, a lot of modern Jags and a lot of modern Land Rovers, when the batteries get weak, you do get some really strange faults, like parking brake faults, all sorts of weird and crazy stuff that you wouldn't think a battery would cause. And I figured I put it down to something similar. And it turned out that it was I don't know I'm pretty sure it's an earthing fault. It comes up when you plug it in diagnostics. It comes up with a voltage supply to the airflow sensor and throttle pedal circuit to range or performance. And yeah, as you lose throttle, I thought, it's got to be throttle pedal. So I bought a throttle pedal. The first one I bought didn't work. The second one I bought had exactly the same problem as the original one. And I asked on forums and they said it was an earthing fault. I have cleaned every single ground point I can find on the car that I know of to do with the engine management. And yeah, that hasn't made a great deal of difference. I managed to get 2 miles out of it before it dropped out. So, maybe it did make a difference. I don't know. It is a really frustrating fault, but it's come back. I'd managed to do about 400 miles before it did come back. Luckily, it came back. Was I at home? No, it started intermittently actually as the weather got cooler, so it could even be a temperature problem. I think I went shopping and I had to drive back at idle, which was strange because we live up a hill now. It was interesting driving home at idle in 5th gear, or eventually getting into 5th gear. So that's been abandoned on the driveway, and every now and then I'll go out and work on it and hope that I fixed it and find that I've not fixed it, which is really frustrating. I haven't looked at it for a few weeks now. I still do want to get that one done. Like I said, if that had been working, I would have used that in. I would have carried on putting cooking oil in this and then used the Golf if it didn't work. But yeah, unfortunately, can't do that. I also taking the Pet Human to drop off at my mum's. Again, if I got stuck in the cold with no engine, we'd soon get pretty chilly in there, and it's not worth the risk. So that's pretty much a fleet update. My wife will be pleased to know that I still don't have any plans to buy anything else at the moment. I did get offered a Jag. I was brave. I got offered what was it? It was an X300 4 litre, and I actually refused to even look at the car because I know if I looked at it, I would have ended up buying it. So yeah, well, I do have space for one more.